Welcome to my channel where I explore how to heal from childhood trauma and the divine feminine. I'm Carrie Blazer. Please check out my free ebook below if you want to do a deeper dive on how to transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom. Additionally, I have a live webinar every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Come and learn how to transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on what's latest and greatest on my channel. Now let's get into this clip. Before the heart beats for the first time, something far greater begins to move. Long before your heart ever beat, thousands of cardiac cells made a silent decision. There was no pulse, no rhythm, no sound. In the earliest stages of development, individual heart cells began firing electrical signals on their own. Then something remarkable happens. They synchronize. Separate impulses align into one coordinated electrical wave. That wave triggers the first contraction, the first heartbeat, the beginning of a rhythm that can last a lifetime. So starting with something so amazing and healthy, how did we get to having cancer and viruses and bacteria? Let's get back to Dr. Gabor Mate, who can really teach us about how all of this works. Okay, let's start with his quote on the left, and then we'll get into one of my teachings. When people do not know how to say no to others in order to prioritize their own physiological needs, the body will say no for them in the form of cancer, such as disease. And we saw that. How many countries and religions teach that the common good is more important than the individual good? If the common good is more important than the individual, why should someone individuate, which is Carl Jung, and become a healthy, independent person when the common good is more important than them? So, and this is where I realized what I was doing. I was always put community before myself. And that's when I was mentally ill. That's when I was super codependent. That's when I had tons of failed relationships. That's when I believed things like fear all men instead of men protect me. That's when I had a subconscious lie that if I apologize, my loved ones will leave me. Oh, when I trusted myself, loved myself, believed myself, oh, when I apologize, my loved ones will want to stay. But why would I believe in myself over community when I have my religion teaching me, the culture teaching me, history teaching me? And is that worldview to control people, or does it create healthy people? Because I'd argue it's for control and not health. When I have my own cup of love and it has overflow, then I can pour out from that overflow onto my partner, onto my children, onto my family, and lastly, the community. But what do we see happening now? We have 18, 19, 20-year-olds protesting against ICE, the Palestinian, the Israeli government. How at 18 years old do they even know the intricacies of something so challenging as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? I mean, do they even know how to love themselves? But this again is an example of us putting community before self. And I don't mean selfish. By self-love, healthy diet, healthy sleep, healthy exercise. Engage in work that's meaningful for you, not because of somebody else. Don't become a doctor because your dad never could. Become a doctor because it came out of your heart. That's a mental decision when your heart is closed. When your heart's open, the doctor naturally comes out. Okay, great. Like when I opened my heart and healed from my childhood trauma, I'm a shaman, and that naturally came out of me. But that wasn't until I was 45. That started the past 10 years. But let's get to Dr. Gabor Mate. And then another Carl Jung quote. Let's hear from him.
What happens to a child where the attachment need is not compatible with the need for authenticity? In other words, if I'm authentic, my parents will reject me. If I feel what I feel and express what I feel and insist on my own truth, my parents can't handle it. And parents convey those messages unconsciously all the time. Not because they mean to, not because they don't love the child, not because they're not trying to do their best, but because they themselves are suppressed or traumatized or hurt or stressed. And what does the child do with that? Well, if I give up my attachment for the sake of authenticity, I lose my relationships on which my life depends. Therefore, there's no question. What becomes suppressed is our authenticity, our emotions. And then we become 25 and 30 or 35, 40, and we don't know who we are.
Right. And when we teach people the common good, like the family good, is more important than the individual good, authenticity is repressed. The individuation process is repressed, and we get emotionally immature adults who want to stop things outside of themselves to make themselves feel more comfortable, as opposed to changing themselves and realizing that the only reason they're getting triggered by these things outside of themselves is because they don't know how to process their own emotions. They don't know how to surf the waves of life, another teaching in my book. This is creating the loneliness epidemic. Carl Jung can help us. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding views that others find inadmissible. And we have a loneliness epidemic. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more conversations about psychology, healing, and the divine feminine, and pick up a free copy of my ebook below. Take care.